everyone, and welcome to Checkpoint. Yeah, thank you so much for all that you do for us at Checkpoint. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments, and for subscribing to our YouTube channel. For all of these things you do, it's helping our message to reach a wider audience, and for this we are indeed grateful. So thank you so much for all that you do. We are so grateful and we appreciate you. This is Checkpoint, and I'm your host, Pastor Ifeoma Eze, and I'm here again with something very powerful and inspiring. And you know, at Checkpoint, we always get you something that would inspire you, something that will educate you, something that will empower you, something that would equip you for life itself. So what are you waiting for? Now will be the time for you to begin to invite your friends, your relations, your associates, and your neighbors. Let everyone gather around. Let them call them, send them a link for the video. I am waiting for you because I know that today's topic is a topic that is so relevant in our lives. So what are you waiting for? Begin to share the link. Just share the link and then come back. Just share the link and then get back to us, because it is time for Checkpoint. Let everyone that you know gather around, because it is time for Checkpoint. All right. So I'll be back right after this break, and then I will share with you our topic for today. I can't wait. Don't go anywhere. All right, and welcome back to Checkpoint. Yeah. Now today I have a very interesting topic for you, and I hope you have been able to talk to your friends, your relations, your associates, and your neighbors. I hope you have been able to send them a link of this video, and I invited them to come and join us, because today, as usual, at Checkpoint, we equip, we empower, and we educate you with very insightful information that will change your life forever. Now, today on Checkpoint, our topic for today is dealing with the fears that are holding you back. Dealing with the fears that are holding you back. Wow, what a topic. I am so excited, because I know that today's topic is one topic you have always waited for. And by the time this video will be coming to an end, you will agree with me that this topic really inspired and changed your life forever. So today we'll be looking at the topic, dealing with the fears that are holding you back. Now let's talk about fears, but don't forget to invite everyone. Let them know it's time to join, so they don't miss out on anything that we want to share today at Checkpoint. All right. Now, let's talk about fears. Now, every one of us, we do have fears. You have your fears and I have my fears. Okay, so practically everyone, you know, we have that fear or the other fear that is holding us back. But one thing we need to understand about fear is that fear is one of our core emotions. It's one of the major emotions we have as human beings. As a matter of fact, fear makes us human. Okay, so every one of us, we have fear for this, fear for that. Fear is a natural, a powerful, and a very primitive human emotion, which means that it has been and will be. All right, so it's not like something that comes and then it will fade out with generations that are coming. No, it's primitive in the sense that it has been, it is, and it will still be. So fear is with us. It's one of our core emotions. And one thing you have to know about fear is that fear can be a biochemical response in our lives. It can also be an emotional response. So fear can be a biochemical response. It can also be an emotional response. So for you, it depends on what you are experiencing or what you have encountered. Now, you might express your fear differently. For physical responses of fear, we have what we call the fight or flight response, which means that when you see something, when you encounter an experience or something that gets you scared, the first instinct you may have is to want to fight, or the first instinct you may have is you may want to run, so take flight. Now, I don't know about some of you, but I have things I am really pretty scared of, all right? And it is not every time I see things I am scared of or see things that make me fear that I get gear up to fight. Some other times, believe me, it is flight. So we all as human beings should know when we can fight and when we can take flight. And that does not make you a coward. That simply makes you a human being. So figure out for yourself, what is it that makes you want to fight it or want to take flight? I don't know, for some of you, you might be scared of some certain things. I hate cockroaches. I am not going to lie about it. Cockroaches and every other crawling stuff, insects, basically insects, reptiles, all of those, I hate them with passion. And I'm not going to tell you in this video whether I decide to fight them by trying to kill them or whether I take flight. That will be an information for another day. But I know some of you, you might want to fight it, you know, because you're the boss man, you're the boss lady, you're strong. Some others, they take flight. And whichever response, it's okay. What matters is that you know when to fight and when to take flight. Now, there are different things that, because it's our survival response. It is the way we survive, all right? Most of us have been able to survive because we knew when to take flight and we knew how to, when to fight what we have seen. For some people, they can see a snake and then they'll go out and they fight it and they kill it. For some of us, we see a snake and our first natural instinct is to take flight. So that's basically our survival response. Now, I want to believe that sometimes to take fight and then fight and kill stuff like that should be a better way to cope. But we all have our different coping mechanisms. And I can't say that this one is better than the other. But then what causes fear? We have to take a look at what causes fear. There are several things that cause fear. Number one could be experiences. You know, nobody was really born with fear, especially when you see very little babies that are very tender, that have just been born. You know, some of them don't even know that fire is something that can burn them, all right? So they have this natural tendency to want to go ahead and play with fire. All right, because they see it as something that shines bright, something that is shiny, and they want to just like touch it. Now, some of them will see animals like cockroaches and they could just be playing with it because they really don't know that these cockroaches have an ability to bite. Okay, do cockroaches bite? I don't know about you, but I think they bite because that's what makes me hate them. So I don't know if cockroaches bite. Let me know in the comment section if you think cockroaches bite or they don't bite. So let's find out. I've not stayed around the cockroach long enough for me to even know if it bites or not. But let me know in the comment section, do cockroaches bite? That's by the way, but give me that answer in the comment section. I'd like to come back and read that answer. So this is our own survival response. Young children, most times, because they have not had adequate experience, they play with things and animals and insects and reptiles that should not be played with because they really don't know what fear is. I remember one of my sons, he was very little and very young, you know. Whenever then, that was my first son because things got better along the way. But my first son, we were using this lantern. I know some people in this generation, because of the advent of generators, most people don't get to use lanterns. But then many years ago, we were using lanterns. And then whenever I dropped the lantern, maybe in the parlor or in a room, he was crawling there. So he would always crawl and want to touch the fire. I want to touch the lantern. And I would shout and scream because apart from the lantern burning him, the lantern has an ability to overflow. If the kerosene inside it pours into the fire, it can cause even an explosion and even burn the child. So I would always shout and scream. He didn't get the memo, all right? He didn't understand why I have to shout whenever he touches that shiny bright light. So one of the occasions I was like, how can I make this boy to stop? So I just took his very tender pinkish fingers and just touched a little part of the lantern that was not so hot, but hot enough for him to pull out his hand. So when he pulled out his hands, I was like, bring your hand, bring your hand. I now grabbed his hand to touch it. He started screaming. I started bringing the lantern close to him. He was now the one running. That was how I was able to settle that matter once and for all, because that little burn which actually did not even have any physical mark on his skin or anything, had the ability to make him know that this thing was too hot to touch. And from that day, he stopped touching it until he grew and then had more sense. All right. So we all have fears, but sometimes some of us did not really experience that fear. Some of us experience the fear, and because of our experiences, we are able to fear a certain thing. But there are other people who they did not have to experience. Somebody told them, and I'll be coming to that particular point, which is the next one. Another cause of fear is words spoken, all right? Warnings that people have received. So basically, you have not had this experience by yourself, but then somebody said something and made you aware that this is something you don't want to get into. All right. So because of what words that have spoken, warnings, you are able to avoid it. You know, some of us here, I'm sure nobody watching me right now has been to hellfire. But then because you've heard words and warnings from scriptures, from preachers, from parents, from instructors around you about living right so that you do not go to hellfire, accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior so that you do not go to hellfire. Most of us have accepted Jesus. Most of us are living right. Most of us are connected to Jesus. Most of us have believed in him, and because of that, we have this assurance that we are not going to hell. So most of us, it's not because we've been to hell and back that we're able to tell people, don't do that. Do this and do that so that you avoid hell. So that's another way that people are able to have fear. Number one, I said that number one cause of fear is through experience, what you have experienced. I talked about my little boy when he was able to touch a lantern. He didn't have to touch it again because he knew that this was hot to touch. Secondly, warnings and words spoken. Then number three, imaginations. All right. Imaginations can make people afraid of something. Like you, in your hearts of hearts, you begin to imagine, this could happen, that could happen. What if this can turn into something else? You know, I don't want to go into all of that, but there are some of us who have very weird and strange imaginations. I don't know what you have imagined in your heart before, but I don't. If you are somebody who is a very creative person, you see that at times you get to imagine things that may be real and things that are also not real. So that's another cause of fear. So you ask somebody, going to a roller coaster, they're like, no, what if the roller coaster breaks down and then I jump from there, or I fall from there. You ask somebody, climb this height. Say, no, I can't climb that height. What if I fall from there? So imaginations are also another cause or trigger for fear for some people. Another cause or trigger for fear is what we call the fear of the unknown. All right, people are scared. You don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know what the next day holds and stuff like that. This can make somebody fear. I don't know what's going to happen in the next week. I don't know what's going to happen 2 weeks time. I don't know how badly things are going. But all of these are still under the imaginations kind of fear. Another kind of cause of fear or trigger for fear are environmental dangers. Maybe you are in a place where things are very difficult. There are killings, all right? There are people being killed, accidents, and even natural disasters happening. So all of this can also create fear in you, and you begin to fear for your life. You begin to have fear. What if I die? What if this somebody kills me? What if this natural disaster takes my life and stuff like that? So there are also fears like that. Now, our natural response to fear can actually protect us from danger. Our natural response to fear can actually protect us from danger, and it can also prepare us to take adequate action. So our natural response to fear can protect us from danger. Assuming you see a snake, or you see a reptile, or you see a scorpion, something that has the ability to cause you harm, it can protect you, all right? Because you know what it is, you're able to identify it, and then you took flight, okay? So, but it can also prepare us to take action. Now, one thing about fear is that in this teaching today, I'm not trying to teach you how to remove fear from your life. I'm simply showing you how to control your fear. So the aim, the goal that we have today is not to remove fear, because basically we really can't remove fear, all right? There is something you are afraid of. There is something I am afraid of. And basically what we want to do is to show you how to control this fear. Now, in case you are assuming that what I'm showing you is, what I'm about to teach today is about phobias and the rest, that is absolutely not what I am intending to teach you today, because all I just did was to create for you a background for you to understand what natural fear is, what we have always known fear to be. Now, I want to focus mainly on the topic for today. The topic for today is dealing with fears that are holding you back. Dealing with fears that are holding you back. So, whatever phobia you have, whether you have phobia for closed places, you have phobia for heights, you have phobia for water, you have phobia for darkness, that is absolutely not what I am about to talk today. So, in case you followed me all this while, well done, because I just gave a general background on the regular fear that you know about. Now, let's talk about fear. One thing you have to do about fear is that, number one, you have to identify it. Identify what it is that you are afraid of. Secondly, face what it is that you are afraid of. And thirdly, overcome what it is you are afraid of. Now, this is just an intro into the kind of fears that we'll be talking about today. Now, today, I have about 7 types of fears, 7 types of fears that could be holding you back. And today, I'll be showing you what you have to do and how to overcome them. Number one kind of fear that could be holding you back is what we call the fear of loss. The fear of loss. Have you been at a place where you are afraid of losing a lovely family member? You are afraid of losing a father, afraid of losing a mother, afraid of losing a child, afraid of losing a spouse. You could even be afraid of losing a contact, a connection, a friend, or a beneficiary, somebody who is helping your life. So there are different times that we find ourselves in that situation where we are afraid. Are we going to lose this friend? Are we going to lose this family member? Are we going to lose this contact and connection in our lives? Are we going to lose this person that has been a help to us? Are we going to lose this sponsor? Are we going to lose this mentor? And then all of those fears come into you. Now, one thing you can understand is this. Fear, we always call it false evidence appearing as real. Sometimes, some of these fears you are packing into your system are really not real, okay? Because in reality, you do not hold the life of anyone in your hands. Now, it is not the person who is sick the most that dies first. That is the reality we have seen here on earth. Now, somebody might be sick for a long time. I've seen somebody who was on a sick bed for almost 10 years, in a sick bed for almost 5 years, and then somebody who was not even sick at all will just scream, my head, and just die. All right, so it's not the one who is sick the most that gets to die first. So do not have this fear of maybe you're about to lose your loved one to death and stuff like that. That's not how it works. Some of you are having fear that you're going to lose somebody who is going to help you, in terms of not losing the person to death this time, but losing the access that you have with that person. Now, one thing you have to know is that if you abuse access, you will lose it. So if you are abusing the access you have with the person, you will eventually lose it. Now, there are cases where you do not even need to abuse the access that you have with the person before you lose access to the person. Now, when that happens, realize that it is not your fault. Realize that you did everything you could. And there is nobody you're going to hold back. You are not... You can't hold anybody against their will, all right? You can't keep anybody in a relationship against their will. There are people that you are in love with now, and you may be out of love with them in a time not long from now. It could be a sister, it could be a brother, it could be a husband, it could be a wife, it could be a father, or even a mother. Now, when that happens, realize that you can't hold anybody against their will. And love is not forced. Love is not forced, okay? So, even friendship, when it comes to friendship, you have to understand this. Love is a commandment, but friendship is optional, which means that somebody can be your friend today and tomorrow will choose not to be your friend anymore. Now, in cases where you have to lose a relationship, in cases where you have to lose a relationship with somebody, what do you do? How do you handle it? First and foremost, don't feel like your world has ended. Don't feel like this is time for you to kill yourself. I've heard stories of a young man killing himself because a lady refused to be in a relationship with him. That is a very obvious sign of a poor mental state, of poor mental health. You should know that even though we on ourselves cannot do everything for ourselves, even though we are not created to live in isolation, but in relationship, there will come a time when people will leave you. And people leaving you is very, very normal. Let me say this again. For the sake of somebody out there who feels like their world is going to end if this man leaves them, if this woman leaves them, if that guy leaves them, if that lady leaves them, listen to me. That is not the end of your life. I understand things might be a bit difficult for a while. I understand there might be complications here and there for a while, but that is not the end of your story. That is not how your story ends. That's not how your life ends. So you have to buckle up, encourage yourself, and then know that some people are in your life for a reason, some others are in your life for a season, and others are in your life for a lifetime. Let me say this again. Some people are in your life for a reason, others are in your life for a season, while others are in your life for a lifetime. It is wisdom for you to know those who are going to be in your life for a lifetime, and it is also wisdom for you to know those who are going to be in your life for a season, and those who are currently in your life for a reason. There are people who may be in your life now because of what they stand to benefit from you. As a matter of fact, don't call it loyalty until you know what they are loyal to. Because some people may claim that they are loyal to you, but what they are actually loyal, they are simply loyal to the need of you in their lives. So they are really not loyal to you, but they are loyal to what they benefit from you. They are loyal to the money you pay them. They are loyal to the gifts that you give to them. They are loyal to what they start to benefit by hanging around you. So please be careful what you call loyalty. And one thing I must say, very, very important is this. Loyalty is not forever. Loyalty is not everlasting. So that somebody is relating with you, hanging around you today does not mean that the person cannot wake up one morning and say, I don't want to be your friend again. I don't want to be in a relationship with you again. It happens. And if it happened to you, know that you are not the first, you are not the second, you are not the 10th, you are not the 100th, you are not the 1,000th person. It has happened to so many others before you. It will happen to so many others after you. So don't take it personal. It's life. There are people who are in your life and they are simply scaffolds. You know what a scaffold is? Those wooden structures they put, or iron structures as in some cases, where they put close to the building in order to fix something in the building. The moment that work is done, the scaffolds are detached from the house. The scaffold might be there when the house is being built, but after the house is built, the scaffolds are removed from the house, pending another stage in the building. So there are people in your life, and all they are in your life are like scaffolds. And like every scaffold, a time will come when they will be removed from your life. And when they are removed from your life, relax. There are some people in your life, if you hear what they said behind you, you won't be crying when you lose them. If you heard what they said at your back, you won't be crying when you lose them. You will relax because God is there fighting your battles. God heard things that you never heard. God heard things you never heard. God heard conversations behind your back that were terrible, and he decided to remove those people from your life. And because you didn't hear it, you are reacting the way you are, but you have to relax. You have to trust that God is on your side and that God is with you. So this is the fear of loss. Sometimes you will lose people. Sometimes you will lose people because of what you did. Some other times you will lose people because of what you did not do. Now, for some of you who like using people, it is not okay to use people. Now, when you're using somebody and you think, oh, I'm just using this person for a while, remember that when they find out that you were just simply using them, they would not be happy about it. That relationship will be very, very spoiled. So, do not take people for granted. There are people in your life now, you feel like you are the one doing them a favor by hanging around them. One thing you do not know is what their tomorrow will be. They will likely be great, or even greater than you. It is not a curse, no. Our destinies are all different. So it's possible that the person you are taking for granted today has potential of even being greater than you in the future. Now, how you handle that relationship today is the determinant if you're going to have a relationship with that person tomorrow. So you have to be careful how you treat people. Now, I think if you leave me, I'll go on and on and on and on that fear of loss. But let's talk about another kind of fear. Number 2, the fear of failure. The fear of failure. Do you know that many of us are held back? Many of us are not living our best lives. Many of us are not shining our light bright enough simply because we are afraid of failing. Now listen to me. Anyone who has never failed before is anyone who has never tried anything important before. Let me repeat that. Anyone who has not failed before is anyone who has not tried anything important before. Now, if you fail, do not consider it. Just call fail, F-A-I-L, as first attempt in learning. When you fail, just say, this is my first attempt in learning. F-A-I-L. That's what it simply means. Don't kill yourself over failure. Failure is simply an event, not your identity. How is it that many of us have the fear of failure and we are allowing it to hold us back? Some of you have very wonderful anointed voices and you have refused to sing simply because you are afraid of failing at music. You are afraid of failing at singing. Some of you have refused to write despite the fact that people tell you, oh, how wonderful what you have written is. Oh, how powerful, how insightful and inspirational what you have written is. They tell you all of that, but you are so scared of failure that you never bother to even write a book. What are you afraid of? Let me know in the comment section right now. What are you afraid of failing? Many of us are afraid of writing exams, and because we are afraid of failing in an exam, we don't bother to write it at all. Listen to me. Failure does not define you. Every great person you see today once failed. Let me tell you a story about a man called Samuel P. Langley. He was a mathematical professor, and he was also an aerodynamics professional. He was the first person who actually tried to fly the airplane. He tried and he had several failures, in quotes. He had several wreckages, and a point came where he gave up and told himself, I don't want to continue this. This is the end. At this point, I give up on the aeroplane. Now, 2 brothers, the Wright brothers, came up and took that same project. Took that same thing that he tried to do, that he couldn't continue because of the failures he had, and they took it up, and eventually they flew the airplane and became the very first ones to fly the plane. Simply because somebody gave up at a point. Somebody was just afraid of failing further. Thomas Edison, it was recorded that he failed 9,999 times while he was trying to work out the incandescent light bulb. And at the 10,000th time, he got it right. Now, journalists had asked him several times, why did you keep going? Why did you keep going after so many failures? He simply said that he saw those 9,999 times. He didn't see them as failures. He saw them as the different ways through which you can never get an incandescent light bulb. Is that not inspiring enough? So he kept trying because he refused to see it as a failure. He refused to see himself as a failure. Everyone you know, everyone you admire, everyone you want to be like has failed at one thing before. Everyone you want to be like, the powerful musicians, the celebrities, there are several things they have failed at before. And they did not stop because they failed, because they understood that they are not their failures and their failures are not them. Let me tell you watching me right now. Yes, you holding your phone watching. You are not your failure. And your failure is not you. Can you say it together with me? Type it in the comment section right now. I'm watching you. Type it. Yes, I'm waiting. Type so I know that you are here. You are not your failure. And your failure is not you. Go ahead and type it in the comment section. We all have failed at something before. I have failed at not one thing or two things, at several things. But that has not made me to stop. That has not made me to give up, because I know that every time I do it better. Every time I repeat, I get it better. Every time I repeat whatever it is I failed at before, or I do it differently, I get a better result. Like I'd always tell you, the best way to overcome defeat is to repeat. The best way to overcome defeat is to repeat. If you have failed before, try it again. Do it again. Sing again. Write again. Cook again. Drive again. Run again. Practice again. Do it again. Don't allow your last failure to be your defining moment in life. Fear of failure has kept many people down. There are people I know, you ask them, they say, oh, I don't want to do this and do it shabbily. I don't want to do this and do it wrongly. I don't want to do this and do it. Please, just try and start. Try. Try. Don't allow this last failure to be your defining moment. You are not the only one who has failed before. You are not the first person, neither will you be the last person. Several people have failed. I can even begin to count for you the number of times people have failed. Do you know how many times Abraham Lincoln failed before he became the president of US? Do you know how many times he failed before he became the president of the United States? People have failed in the past, but they didn't let their failure stop them. You too, do not allow your failure to stop you. Don't end there. Don't allow this to be how your story ends. I asked a particular young man about why he is not doing some things in line with his passion the other day. He said to me, he's afraid of doing it and then he's doing it wrongly. I simply asked him a question. I said, when did you start this? He told me. How old are you now? He told me. I said, how many years have passed? Years have gone by. And you have not been able to express your passion because you are simply afraid of failing. Do you know that when you go ahead and try, even if you fail and you come back to repeat what you have done before, you will never make the same mistakes again. Because the areas where you failed at will not be the areas where you improve upon. So tell me, chat with me right now. Chat in the comment section. Tell me right now in the comment section. What are you afraid of failing at? Let me know. Are you afraid of singing? Are you afraid of writing? Are you afraid of a public speaking? What if I bite my mouth on stage? What if I speak a grammatical error on stage? What if I do something wrong that will be on stage forever? Listen to me. Go ahead and do it. Just do it. You know the Nike logo? Just do it. Just do it. Just sing it. Just write it. Just play it. Just drive it. Just run. Just do it. Don't wait for things to align properly before you can. Time is going and time is waiting for no person. Tick, tick, says the clock. Whatever you have to do, do it. Because you already have a little time on this stage called Earth to express your passion, to express your vision, to become all that you can be. Is there a program you want to start? Do you want to start your online course? Do you want to start a new vision and a new dream? Do you want to begin to work on your purpose? Don't be afraid of failing at it before you even start. Start, fail, pick yourself up, and keep going. A wise man once said that it is not an error for you to fail, but it is a real error for you to fail and remain where you failed. Fear of failure will keep you bound. Fear of failure will keep you stagnated. Fear of failure will hold you back and will not allow you to express your God-given potential and become the very best version of yourself. So today, whatsoever you are afraid of, break it down and begin to start and do it and make it better. And I see you becoming a star because you threw away all your failures and you decided to do what? To excel. Keep doing it. You will excel one day. Let's talk about number 3, fear. The fear of being judged. The fear of being judged. You know, many of us are always afraid of being judged wrongly, afraid of people looking down on what we have done. Let me tell you a story. How many of you have heard a story of a man who was on a donkey with his son? And so the man and his son was on the donkey and they were walking down the road. Now people looked at him and said, see this man, are you so wicked to animals that you are on the donkey and your child is also on the donkey? Do both of you want to kill this donkey? Now the man said, oh, that is really true. He came down from the donkey and left his son on the donkey. As they walked down, another group of people met them on the way and said, what a very wicked child. You mean that your father who is laboring for you and providing for you is the one who is trekking? And then you are sitting on the donkey instead of allowing your father who is an old man to be on the donkey? And they said, oh, sorry about that. We're going to make some corrections. And then the child came down and the man climbed the donkey. And they continued on their journey. As they were down the road, another group of people met them again and said, what kind of wicked man is this? Do you mean that this little child, you do not have any compassion on him? Do you want this child to die before his time? How is it that you, who is an experienced adult, is on the donkey and you left this child on the ground? And the man looked at the child looked at him and he said, okay, don't worry, we're going to make some corrections. And then the man and his child came down from the donkey and they were walking. And the donkey, there was nobody on the donkey. So they dragged the donkey along the way. And another group of people met them and said, what kind of foolishness is this? You have a donkey that can actually be a beast of burden and help you move to your location faster. But what did you choose to do? Both of you are just dragging the donkey and walking with bare feet. What level of foolishness is this? Now you see that there was nothing they did and they were not judged for it. They were judged every single time they made a new decision. Every single time they made a new adjustment, they were still judged. Whether they were on the donkey, they were judged. Whether they were out of the donkey, they were judged by people. Can I tell you that people will judge you? And there is something you can control. You can control how you feel about yourself, but honestly, you cannot control how other people feel about you. So, allow them to feel what they feel or think what they think. Allow people to make whatever picture or image they think of you. You cannot control it. No matter how nice you try to be a good person, I know about perception management, I know about image building and stuff like that, but people will still make up their minds to think about you, to see you in the way they want to see you. So don't kill yourself trying to impress people all the way. Allow them. Let them be. They should go ahead and make their decisions. In life, you'll be judged. Whether you're doing something significant, you'll be judged. If you're doing nothing significant, you'll be judged. Do something important, you'll be judged. Do absolutely nothing, you'll be judged. This is the world we have found ourselves in. A world that is full of judgment. And unfortunately, even in our 21st century, with modern technology and social media apps, people feel they're entitled to tell you their mind concerning you. People feel that they can tell you what to do with your life. People feel that they're entitled to speak for you and to talk against you whichever way they like. In this era where people write open letters even to fathers and higher authorities, they have no fear. So please do yourself a favor And what do? Love yourself. Because when you love yourself, irrespective of who is judging you, you have that internal self-love. It will keep you alive. It will keep you going. It will keep you focused. People will judge you whether you do anything or not. Please let me type it in the comment section if you heard me loud and clear. People will judge you no matter what you do. So what's the advice here? Go ahead and live your life to the best way, in the best way you can, all right? Go ahead and live your life intentionally, pleasing God, pleasing yourself, and making sure that you don't live your life pleasing people all around. Okay? Look at your heart. Make sure that your heart is clean, that you're living intentionally, and that you're living the way God wants you to live, and then forget the rest. Forget the rest, because you'll be judged. People will look at you if you, okay, let me bring a particular scenario into play. A particular lady some time ago posted on her social media that she has kept herself a virgin, and she has kept herself till the day of marriage, and she's encouraging other young people to also keep themselves as virgins. You wouldn't believe the level of backlash that this young lady received. I know you might say that she can keep her opinion personal to herself, but wait, it's a social media platform. She has the right to go ahead and encourage people from her platform. And now I know what you'll be saying. People also have the right to tell her whatever they want to say. But you can't open your mouth and say anything. You can't open yourself and just say rubbish. How many of you remember the lady who was on the train and she was attacked on the train, shot on the train, and she posted that she has been shot, and people said all manner of nonsense that even killed that lady before she eventually died? Some people said, oh, you still have time to be on social media after you have been shot. Some people said some terrible things. Are you sure you have been shot? Die and post about it. You know, terrible, wicked things. People face this young lady because she posted about virginity. Some people said it's not about virginity, it's about character. If you like, have all the virginity that you want to have. If you don't have character, you are doomed. Some people say, is it virginity that will eat? Some people say, who virginity help? Different kinds of negative comments. And she was just trying to say that if she was able to do it, others can do it. Others, you know, it was really terrible. Now, if another person came out on social media and said that she was also not a virgin, that she has slept with maybe 10 men or 50 men or 100 men, people will also judge her. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that we live in a world where people get to judge, all right? So you cannot control how they judge or what they judge about you. What then can you do? Control how you feel. Control how you feel. It is commonly said that life is not about the 90% of things that happen to you, but about how you react to it. So life is basically 10% what happened to you and 90% how you react to it. 10% of what happened to you and 90% how you react to it. So people will judge you. Let's get that straight. Let's get that out of the way. So somebody can see a couple who are living well in marriage, and they say, oh, people don't post their bad days. People don't post the days when they fight in their marriage. People don't post the days they quarrel in their marriage. Let me ask you, do you bath in public? Do you wash your dirty clothes in public? Nobody does that. So don't expect people to equally post their bad moments, the times when they are fighting or quarreling on social media. So the fact that they posted their nice moments on social media is supposed to encourage you and motivate you and let you know that their marriage can actually be sweet. Take it and forget about the judging. But like I said, you might post a beautiful family picture and people will look at it, and all they care about, all they want to say is, oh, this is when you guys were able to arrange yourself. Oh, the fact that you posted yourself on social media is not proof that you have a good family. It doesn't matter. And that is why almost all the social medias have something beautiful called the delete button. Something very beautiful, the delete button. So you can delete comments that you do not like. You can delete comments of people who are giving you their negativity. And please relax. Sometimes some of these people, they give you what they have. Their mind is filled with bitterness, with unhappiness. And what do? They just pour out the same venom. because that's all that is inside them. Don't take it personal. They are hurt people, and hurt people hurt others. Bitter people try to make other people bitter. That's just how it works. We've dwelt on those things long enough. I want us to talk about number 4. Number 4 is the fear of identity. The number 4 fear that could be holding you back is the fear of identity. Do you know that many of us, even in adulthood, are still asking the questions, who am I? What was I born to do? Why am I here on earth? And I would like to give you, there's a particular video I've done on the issue of identity. That video is going to help you so much. We're going to drop the link at the bottom of this video. Please go ahead and click on it. It will help you greatly. Or go ahead and search my YouTube channel. You'll find that video on identity. Just type identity by Pastor Ifeoma and you'll be able to see it. Many people still have the fear of identity. Who am I? Am I relevant here on earth? Am I just a dot in the hem of affairs here on earth? Am I just a dot in the universe? Do I matter? Do I have any reason for being alive? Let me tell you, God is not a waster of resources. God is very intentional. When God created you, when God allowed you to come here on earth, he knew he was allowing somebody who was going to be an incredible personality. God never creates non-entities. God creates celebrities. God creates stars. He knows you are a star. It's just that you have not been able to discover who you truly are, what you are supposed to do, and who you are supposed to do it with, and when you are supposed to do it. When you discover all of that, you will become the very best version he has created you to be. So this fear of identity, many of us are still having that fear. Who am I? What can I do? What am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to live this life and just go and die like that without leaving any impact here on earth? Listen to me, you were born for impact. You were born for a reason. As a matter of fact, you became a fighter even before you were formed. Many spermatozoas tried to penetrate the egg that gave birth to you, but eventually you were the fastest. You were the best. You started succeeding even before you came out here on earth. During labor, you fought, you struggled. Many children died in the womb, but you didn't die. You came out and you survived. That is how I know that you have always been a fighter. That is how I know that you will be a winner. That is how I know that your story does not end here. That is how I know that your life is not ending now. There are no mistakes with God. Even if you were born out of wedlock, you are not a mistake. So listen to me. Your parents may have made a mistake, but you are not a mistake. The act they did might have been a mistake, but the child that was born out of that is never a mistake. So you might be here, you don't know who your father is, you don't know who your mother is, you don't even have any siblings, you are still not a mistake. Listen to me, there are people before you who are in the same shoes as you are right now. There are people after you who will be in the same shoes that you are right now. And that does not mean that the story of your life has to be defined by all of that. The fear of identity will keep you bound. But what do? Keep working on it. Somebody will say, okay, if I don't know what my identity is, how can I overcome that fear? Number 1, identify that you have this fear of identity, okay? Number 2, face it. How do you face it? Look out for what you love to do. You may not know why you are here on earth, but there is something you already know. You know what you love to do. You know something that has a burning passion in your heart. You know that thing that when you start to do it, even if nobody pays you, even if nobody encourages you, you will still do it and you do it well. You know that thing that when you do, people tell you that this thing is excellent, it's powerful, you do it well, they love you for it. Go ahead and keep doing that thing. Go ahead and keep working on that thing. It won't be long. It won't be long. You'll be known for something. It won't be long. You would have unveiled what your true identity is. Look out for what you have a passion for. That thing that you will do, and you won't even know that night is coming. That thing that you will do, even when you feel sick, even when you feel tired, you are energized to do that. That is a revelation of your true identity. No matter how I am tired, I still come ahead and I still go ahead and I shoot videos for you videos that will equip, inspire, and empower you. These are the kind of videos I give to you because I know that it has the ability to change your life. I may be tired physically, but the moment I begin to speak, I get energized because I was born for this. Now, you may not have identified what it is, but watch your life. Ask questions. What do I do well? What do I love to do? What gives me this internal satisfaction? That is how you face the fear of identity. And then what do? You overcome it. You overcome it by doing one thing, two things, three things that you love to do, that give you satisfaction, that make you so happy, that make you not be aware that time has gone. That is an indication into what your identity truly is. Are you getting blessed? Are you getting inspired? That is why I am here. Let's talk about number 5. Number 5, fear. This is a fear that happens to many people. This is the fear of time. Fear of time. Do you know that there are many people that are always scared? I don't have time. I don't have time. I have to do this now. I have to do that now. Fear of time. A young girl might just be there and she's scared. The fear of time will make her to fall into a wrong relationship with somebody who she truly does not love, somebody who she cannot even respect or submit to, somebody who she's not going to have a good relationship with simply because she feels that time is against her. I've seen young ladies who went into a relationship not because they really like the person, but because they felt that time is against me. Oh, I'm already 30. Oh, I'm already 28. Oh, time is already going. If I don't get involved with this person, if I don't marry this person, it's possible that I might not see some other person to marry. This fear is not only akin to the female, it also happens to the males. Time. My mates have achieved it. My mates have made it. My mates are building the house. My mates are getting married. My mates are starting their companies. What am I doing? Fear of time. Let me tell you something about time. We may be born at the same time, but our destinies have different timings. Let me say this again. We may be born at the same time, but our destinies have different timings. You have to be very intentional about this because all of us function from different time zones. There is a reason why it is dark, why it is daylight in Africa right now and it is darkness in South Korea right now. There is a reason. There is a reason why Asia is in darkness and Africa is in light. There is a reason why when we are in darkness, they are also in daylight. Their time is different for everyone. Some people are 6 hours ahead, some others are 6 hours later. Because we have different time zones. When some people are saying good morning on this earth, some others are saying good afternoon still on this earth, some others are saying good night on this same earth. We function from the same time zones. Is it supposed to be a mystery to you that the same God who created several time zones on this earth also has different time zones for all of us who are individuals? So we may be born at the same time, but we have different times for manifestation. We have different times for shining. We have different times for becoming who God has made us to be. So it's not a classmate issue. We may be classmates, but we are not grace mates. And because we are not grace mates, our manifestations in grace will be different. Accept your own time. Accept your own time. God is the one who is in charge of our time. And the Bible says something very beautiful. God makes all things beautiful in his time, not in our time, not in our father's time, or our mother's time, or our neighbor's time, or our society's time. He makes all things beautiful in his time. I have seen a 20-year-old get married, and she looked for fruit of the womb for another 10 years since she got to 30. I have seen a 30-year-old get married, and she started having twins and triplets all at the same time. Everything is in God's hands. If you are afraid of time, remember that you are not alone. Instead of looking at the calendar, please look at the commander. Let me say this again. instead of looking at the calendar, look at the commander, because the commander is in charge of your own specific calendar. He knows when you will blow. He knows when you will shine. He knows when you will manifest. He knows when kings and queens will begin to come for you. Don't give up on yourself too soon. Don't assume that time has gone against you. You may be 40, but he has somebody he has kept for you. You may feel like time has gone for you, but he makes all things, not some things, not a few things. He makes all things beautiful in his own time. Why not just wait for God's time? Why not wait for the one who is the commander that has the calendar? Looking at the calendar every hour and then, looking at calendar every now and then, it's not going to help your life. It's going to put you under so much pressure. When that uncle comes to warn you about how time is going, when that auntie comes to warn you about how time is going, tell them that God makes all things beautiful in his time. So it doesn't matter when you start schooling. Maybe you entered the university at the age of 16. Don't look down on another person who started their own university education at the age of 30. We have different time zones, and people manifest at different times. Don't say because Richard is celebrating, because Sandra is celebrating, I have to celebrate at this exact time. No, it doesn't work like that. Remember that when your testimony comes late, your testimony becomes the latest. When your breakthrough comes late, your breakthrough becomes what? The latest. When we talk about a brand new bouncing baby, it is the baby that has just been given birth to, not the old one that's already running across the compound. So please relax and allow God to perfect everything concerning you in his own time. He truly makes all things beautiful in his time. Don't run ahead of God and don't run behind God. Don't run faster than God. Allow God to perfect everything in his own time. Now, time is not in your hands. Time is in God's hands. And if you know that, you have some peace about it. Don't have this fear of time. What do you have to do while waiting for your time? Prepare. Package yourself. Occupy while waiting for your time. So if you're out there and you're waiting for an opportunity to study abroad, start studying in Nigeria. Start studying in the country right now. If you're out there and you're waiting for when you get married, start developing yourself. Start improving your capacity. Start learning new skills. Start working on yourself. Don't just sit and cross your hand and say, I'm relaxing and waiting for the person that's coming to marry me. Listen to me. The person who will likely come to marry you will not want to marry a liability. That person wants to get married to an asset. And that is why you have to start building yourself up, working on yourself, improving and increasing capacity. While waiting, because you can't say, oh, I am waiting. Don't waste while waiting. Many of us say we are waiting, but in actual fact, we are wasting. While you are waiting, stop wasting. While you are waiting, this might be a word for somebody out there. While you are waiting, stop wasting. Start doing something with your life. Start building up on yourself. Start working on yourself. Start doing something. Work on, improve on who you are. So that by the time that person comes your way, that person will not meet the person at the beginning. I was having a conversation with a lady yesterday, and I was telling her on why she needs to just keep working on herself, improving on herself, increasing her capacity while waiting for marriage. And she told me something that was very, very, that confirmed what I was saying. She said that the person that would have married her several years ago came to her and said something. I am doing you a favor by marrying you. You see, that's what they will do. They will think they are doing you a favor by getting married to you because you are still where you are right now. But by the time you improve on yourself, identify what it is you are meant to do here on earth, identify a purpose, identify a vision, have a passion, you are working on it, you are improving your capacity, you are developing yourself. Eventually, when they come to you, they will see marrying you as a privilege to be sought for. They won't see them marrying you as doing you a good or doing you some favor. No, they will see that, oh, I am so privileged to be the one who is getting married to somebody like you. That's how it works. So do not be afraid of time. You might think that time is going, but in time, you will manifest. In time, you will break through. In time, you will only get better. Now, let's talk about number 6, the fear of the future. The fear of the future. This can also be called the fear of the unknown, you know. There are people who have this fear of the future. What will my tomorrow be? What will the future be? What will happen in the next 5 years? And you won't believe me when I tell you, but believe me, some people get crippled with the fear of the future that they fail to live today. They have become so crippled with the fear of what the future holds that they lose out entirely on the life that is right before them. Do you know about an antibiotic called penicillin? There was a man who was told that he was going to die, and that he was going to die by a very terrible bacteria. This man heard it, and he was like, what? Instead of focusing on the sickness he already had, he focused on developing a cure for it. He worked hard and worked hard and worked hard. Do you know that he was told that he had 6 months to live? He was busy working on that antibiotic. He worked on it for 1 year. Because he was so focused on working on the antibiotics, he practically forgot that he was actually sick and that he was given a deadline. Eventually, he developed the cure and he was able to treat himself, and he got better all for it. I heard the story of another man who was told he was going to die, and he put all his energy on writing a book he has always wanted to write. He finished writing that book and wrote 5 extra books before he remembered that he was told he was going to die. He had a few months to live, and he lived way past that simply because he refused to focus on the future, on the prognosis of this infirmity, but focused on what to contribute to his generation. Stop worrying about the future. Let me tell you the truth. Every one of us, including myself, we all think about what does the future hold. Well, you know why we will not dwell on it? Why you should not dwell on what the future holds is because you know the one who holds the future. So while I may not know what my future holds, I know the one who holds my future. And all I have to do is just to trust him and believe him that he knows what is best for me and that he's going to make my future bright. He said in his word, "For I know the plans concerning you, thoughts of good and not of evil, to give you a bright future and an expected end." That is God's plan for you. So stop worrying about what the future holds. Don't allow that fear to cripple you or keep you down. Many of us are so scared. What will the future hold? Why are we going to do this? Let me tell you one thing I really do to help with the fears that I have. You know, I've talked about the fear of loss. I've talked about the fear of failure. I've talked about the fear of being judged. I've talked about the fear of identity. I've talked about the fear of time. I'm not talking about the fear of future. One of the major ways through which I handle most of these fears is that I ask myself, instead of using all of my energy to be afraid of what people will say, of me losing this opportunity or losing this access, of me failing actually at this particular thing, of even me not being able to achieve this in time, I use all of that energy to focus on actually doing those things. So somebody told me the other day, I was talking with a young man, and he was telling me about his fear of singing, of doing his music, like his albums and tracks, and not doing it well. And I told him, listen to me, it is better you do it and not do it well, and then improve on it, than allowing this fear to cripple you for life. There are many, many dreams, many visions that did not see the light of day simply because the owner, the vendor, the convener of that vision and that dream is so afraid of being judged, afraid of failure, afraid of losing it, that they never ever brought out those dreams and visions. That is why Miles Monroe said that the richest place on the earth is not the bank, it's not the bank vault of the banks, but rather the burial ground, the places where destinies, where dreams, where visions that did not see the light of the day have been buried. That's why he says it's the richest place. Because lots and lots of dreams and visions and potentials that did not see the light of the day because the covenants were simply scared or afraid. They were just scared and they kept it within themselves and died with it. And they died with it. Please let me beg you. I beg you with everything that you hold dear. Don't die with your vision. Don't die with your dream. Don't die with that powerful dream. Don't die with that powerful vision. Don't die with that gift that God has given to you. Don't die with that skill. Don't die with that talent. I am begging you. I am begging you. Blossom with that uniqueness. Let your word enjoy your uniqueness. Let your word enjoy your talent, your skill, your ability, your dream. Please do not die with your vision. I am begging you. Do not die with that potential. Do not die with that ability. I know you are scared, but all of us are really scared. All of us are scared, actually. But the difference between others is that what we simply did is that some people were able to overcome their fears and go ahead and live their dream, while others were simply being scared. Don't die. Don't die and with that vision inside you. Flow. Allow the world to see your light so that they will glorify your Father in heaven. Many of us have bright and shining lights and we are covering it. We are so scared to allow our world to see what we truly carry. Please don't die with that dream. I beg you, don't die with that vision. Don't die with that potential. Shine forth. Shine your light and let your world see it. Blossom from where you are. Start it now. I am begging you. Because many of us are afraid. What if in the future this happens? What if in the future that happens? You cannot control your future. You do not know what's going to happen. I do not know what's going to happen. Let's live the moment. Let's live the moment. That book you want to write, in 10 years' time, start writing it now. That song you want to sing, in 5 years' time, start doing it now. Am I saying you should not prepare? No. Am I saying you should not prepare for this, for whatever potential you have? No. Prepare, but do it now. You don't have all the time. You don't have all the time. So stop being afraid of what the future will hold, of what will happen in the next 5 years or 10 years. Whatever it is, live now. Smile now. Dance now. Enjoy now. Do you know there are people who are just working hard, working diligently, planning for their future, planning for their tomorrow, investing in businesses because they want their children to grow, putting their money in it. But do you know what? They are not enjoying their life today. They are not eating from that money today because they are planning for the future. The future, no, none of us know what the future holds. So while you are planning for your tomorrow, while you are planning for that time you have excess money, that time you are planning for how your children go to universities abroad, that time while you are planning for how you will eat big money in the future, start eating a little now. Start wearing some clothes now. Start going for holidays now. Start having some vacations now. Tomorrow is not promised. We can only hope for a better tomorrow. So some of you are just saving and saving and saving and investing and investing and investing for the future. Please, while you invest a little, enjoy a little. Invest a little, enjoy a little. Because for the sake of tomorrow, many of us have missed out on today. For the sake of the future, many of us have missed out on living our best lives now. So please live. Smile, dance, play, be happy. Don't die like that. And this brings me to the final fear I like to be talking about today, the fear of death. The fear of death. You know, it's a bit similar to what I just said. Do you know that many of us have this crippling fear of death? that we focus so much on that fear of death and we miss out on the life that we have right here. Should I tell you something you already know? Should I say it? Everybody will die. Is that depressing? Mm-mm. Everybody will die. The difference is that we'll die at different times. Our prayer is that we die in gray old age. That is our prayer. That is our hope. That is our belief that we will not die premature. But let us not allow the fear of death happening to cripple us. So because your father died at 40, your mother died at 40, you believe that when you're 40 you will die. It doesn't work like that. You will live past that age. Don't allow those fears to cripple you and prevent you from living your best life. As a matter of fact, if you know that you will eventually die, why not just live your best life now? As a matter of fact, if you focus so much on life, on making impact, on enjoying the life that you have, you will not have time to be thinking about the fear of death. So there are many people that they are so scared of death. As a matter of fact, we who are believers should not be scared of death, because death is when our last day on earth here is our first day with our Maker. We have this belief, we have this conviction, because we have given our life to Him. And if you have not given your life to Christ, you are missing out. You are missing out, because, in fact, you are the one that should really have this fear of death. If you have not given your heart to Christ, because you know that eternal damnation is going to be your portion. And it is my prayer that that should not be your portion. Because if you have not given your heart to Christ, today will be a very good day. Let me know that you want to give your heart to Christ, and I'll pray with you and lead you to Christ. Because there is nothing as beautiful as that. You have the hope of life here. You have the hope of life in eternity. So don't waste all of your energy having the fear of death, because all of us will eventually die at one point or the other. Our only hope is that we do not die premature. It is my prayer that every one of us, both you watching me, both me presenting this video, that we will not die until all of us are gray, wrinkled, and very old in age. That is my prayer in the name of Jesus, because we believe God. We believe God that we'll live to great old age. But while we do that, don't allow this fear of death to cripple you. Say, oh, everybody will soon die. So what's the essence? No, the essence is for you to live your life today. In fact, as a matter of fact, every day, live your life each day as if it were your last. Live your life each day as if it were your last. That will help you to live more intentionally. It will help you to live your life more purposefully. Because you know that, okay, if this was going to be my last day, how would I live it? What would I want to do with today? What impact will I want to make? What result will I want to have? So live your life intentionally. If you do this, it will help you. Remember that I said at the beginning that all of us have fears. But we just can't allow these fears to control our lives. Rather, what I'm trying to achieve by sharing this video with you today is that we should not just think of removing our fears. We should try to control our fears. The fears might not go out entirely, but certainly we can control it. And when we control it, we'll be able to live the very best version of our lives. So today, I'd like to tell you, do not allow the fear of loss to hinder you from living your best life. Do not allow the fear of failure to hinder you from becoming all that God wants you to be. Do not allow the fear of being judged prevent you from shining your light bright. Do not allow the fear of identity to prevent you from doing what you can now that you can do what you can. Don't allow the fear of time to make you accept things that you should not accept into your life. Don't allow the fear of time to make you walk into situations that are not supposed to be the ones you're supposed to walk into. Don't allow the fear of time to make you accept temporal stuff in the place of something more permanent. Remember, don't make a temporal decision in a permanent condition. That is very, very, very key. Don't allow the fear of the future to prevent you from living your life now, and not allow the fear of death to make you not to enjoy the life that God has given to you today. So these are the few things I decided to share with you today on checkpoints. Now, until I come your way again, keep leaving an indelible mark, a positive indelible mark in the lives of people and on the sands of time. I love you so much and I am rooting for your success. Take good care of yourself. Bye. Hi everyone, I hope you are blessed by that message. All right, so I want you to just go ahead and support us. If you are led, go ahead and just sow into the account right on the screen. And I know that as you do that, God will bless you big time. Because of the seeds you are sowing, you will be able to reach a wider audience on different platforms. So please do well to sow that seed and God will bless you. Love you.